Hey folks, Bree is away from the house with the girls and the kids. The boys are spending the night at grandparents, and the girls and the baby and Brianna are spending the night with friends, having a sleepover. So I'm here for the rest of the day and tomorrow morning as well. So I'm gonna try to get a lot of work done. The first thing I'm doing is running down the road to get some hay from a neighbor. I'm bringing you down here just to show you this hayfield and tell you about this arrangement. This is one of the hayfields down here, and there's 3 little fields. This little spot is just tucked away up in this little cove. It's just this one little beautiful pasture, giant pine tree in the middle. If we continue to get hay off these fields, I'll end up probably cutting that tree up. And this old barn, old tobacco barn, and all of this, you can't tell probably from where you are, but all of this is poison ivy growing on the barn. One of our neighbors who has been very generous with us with his old hay over the past couple years is now being even more generous, and he got rid of his horses, and now he doesn't need to cut hay anymore. He cuts hay on other people's land just to keep the pastures down, and so he offered to give us all his old hay and to continue to cut the hay and sell it to us at an extremely cheap price. Basically, he's giving it to us. So I showed up earlier today to help him with some of the heavier work of just moving equipment, getting equipment on and off of the tractor. So the hay is cut, it's all on the ground. He'll turn it or kick it probably Friday and Saturday. Used to be an old house right up here, and here is the spring. Right over here though is something I've wanted to show you for a long time, and I think it's really amazing. So this is an old, they called this all kinds of things, a can house, a root cellar, and it's built into the side of the hill. It has concrete, poured concrete roof. This is the type of place that allowed people to be self-sufficient in the past. If you grew a ton of food, potatoes, carrots, cabbages, radishes, stuff that could be stored, and if you canned a lot of food, you had to have a place to put it. Most people think of a root cellar like this primarily for keeping food cool, and that's true. It'll stay just under 50 degrees in here pretty much all year. But root cellars also kept food from getting too cool. If you put potatoes, say, in a barn, they would freeze and become mush. So a root cellar can keep your food at a temperature that will allow it to last through the winter in many cases. This is just a relic of years gone by. I spent a good chunk of time earlier today talking to our neighbor who cut hay and just hearing these amazing stories about the community up here and how everyone used to grow tobacco, everyone used to help everyone out. Here we're on the edge of this hayfield here. This is the biggest one is down the road. There's this one and then the little one I showed you right up here. I love hearing these stories from people who grew up here about what the community used to be like here. But the stories make me really sad also. The people who lived in really anywhere, but the stories I know are from this valley and the coves around here. They really had something special out here. And they'll all tell you that, all of them will. They had connections with all the people in the valley around. They worked together, they went to school together, they went to church together. In fact, there's a church right down the road, he was telling me, where many of the people in the valley went. And it was also their school for a lot of years. I guess I better get to work. I will tell you, I could easily spend 2 days on our homestead and in the woods around here and get nothing done. Just enjoying the beauty and hiking and walking. A lot of the people who live up here really like what we're doing and have been very encouraging to us, because we're kind of doing stuff up in this valley that almost no one else is doing. Raising pigs, keeping a milk cow. We're at least a little bit of entertainment maybe, but our neighbors have just been great. I mean, there's many examples of how they've been generous to us, but this is a huge one. He's giving us just all this hay. This is my new plan to keep down the grass and condition the soil under the apple trees. It's called whole hay bale mulch, or chicken resistant mulch. One of the problems we've had in mulching under our apple trees is that the chickens get in and just tear it up. So this way it's really hard for them. They can't spread it out. The strings are still on these bales. Young trees really do best if they don't have grass right underneath their drip line. And I've struggled with keeping the grass down. Within a year, these bales will be broken down into a really nice composty mulch. And it's fun to watch them rot. It's fun to watch them rot? I guess it is. I guess you'd really know you made a connection with someone if you realized your common interest was watching hay bales rot. Come here, Missy. Dan the duck. If you can jump out of your box and run all around the house making a mess, then I think you can join the general population. If you watched our last two videos, you'll know that this little duck has had some issues with his legs. I think it's a niacin deficiency, but he's quite a bit better. He's walking around. He escaped this morning in the house, and he's gonna go back in with his siblings. That's him right there. He's a little stumbly, but he is able to get around, and he'll be able to eat and drink. Okay, you guys. A couple of my priorities for this afternoon, which is gone, and tomorrow, are planting the garden, or getting this portion of the garden closer to being ready to plant, and also planting blackberries, and getting a fridge we're killing a couple pigs this weekend. I need to get a fridge so I can cure hams, and then getting ready to kill pigs. I just planted a row of potatoes right there off camera, and then did some significant weeding in the onions and a little weeding in the strawberries. As I was bringing hay bales back to our house today and the other day, I was sorting them. Some of them are very old and almost look like straw. And then some of them are better, which I've put in the barn. There's 48 hay bales in the barn that are probably bovine feeding quality. The goats won't eat them. A lot of these are gonna go on this portion of the garden though that needs a boost. In this upper portion, we're gonna mulch it and kind of do something along the lines of a Ruth Stout gardening method. This corner is the worst corner of the garden. That one I put a lot of manure on. It used to be worse, but it's improving. So I'm gonna get the bales that are on the side of the fence there and throw them over the fence, and then cover as much of the upper portion of this garden as they'll cover. Got that whole upper portion of the garden covered. I'll probably keep going, honestly. I'm doing along the edge here. I need to do around those berry plants. Honestly, I need to mulch between all these beds. But I think I'm gonna take a little break, and then I'll probably come back out and do some more, because that is what these 2 days are for me, is working. It is a gorgeous evening, and And I wish I could just stop and enjoy it. I may just stop and take a good break here and enjoy how quiet and beautiful it is. Well, folks, thank you for joining us. It's been another great day on the homestead. See you next time.